She is Delcy Rodriguez. Just hours ago, she was the Vice President of Venezuela, but now she is the most powerful person of the Latin American nation. After U.S. forces kidnapped Nicolás Maduro, the command of the South American country shifted straight into the hands of Rodriguez. The Venezuelan Supreme Court named Delcy Rodriguez the Interim President, invoking Articles 233 and 234 of the Constitution. With the presidency suddenly vacant, the Vice President takes over. In light of the exceptional situation generated by the kidnapping of citizen Nicolás Maduro Moro, President of the Republic, which constitutes a case of material and temporary impossibility to exercise his functions, and by virtue of the above, and in compliance with the authority conferred by Article 335 of the Constitution of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, as the highest and ultimate interpreter of the Constitution, as well as of Article 5 of the Organic Law of the Supreme Court of Justice, this chamber establishes its competence and proceeds ex officio to interpret the applicable constitutional provisions in order to clarify and dispel any legal uncertainty with the aim of establishing the roadmap for preserving the constitutional order at this crucial moment for the country. It is ordered that citizen Delcy Rodriguez Gómez, Executive Vice President of the Republic, assume and exercise in an acting capacity all the powers, duties, and faculties inherent to the office of President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, in order to guarantee administrative continuity and the comprehensive defense of the nation. Third, it is ordered to immediately notify the Citizen Executive Vice President, the National Defense Council, the High Military Command, and the National Assembly. Notify and comply immediately. Given, signed, and sealed in the Session Hall of the Constitutional Chamber of the Supreme Court of Justice in Caracas on the 3rd day of January 2026, 214th year of independence and 165th year of the Federation. And now, the woman who once stood in Maduro's shadow stands at the very center of a global storm. As the spotlight now shifts to Rodriguez, let us understand her better. 56-year-old Rodriguez is from Caracas and studied law at the Central University of Venezuela. She has spent more than 2 decades as one of the leading figures of Chavismo, the political movement founded by President Hugo Chavez and led by Maduro since Chavez's death in 2013. She served as Minister of Communication and Information from 2013 to 2014 and later became Foreign Minister from 2014 to 2017. In that role, she defended Maduro's government against international criticism, including allegations of democratic backsliding and human rights abuses in the country. In 2017, Rodriguez became president of the Constituent National Assembly that expanded the government's powers after the opposition won the 2015 legislative elections. In 2018, Maduro appointed her vice president for his 2nd term. She retained the post during his 3rd presidential term, which began on January 10, 2025, following the controversial July 28, 2024 elections. Until the president's capture, she served as Venezuela's chief economic authority and Minister of Petroleum. Trump, in his address after Maduro's capture, said Marco Rubio had spoken with the vice president, and she appeared willing to work with Washington on a new phase for Venezuela.
Are you going to work with the Vice President of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship going?
I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
But within hours, Rodriguez threw cold water on Trump's vision. Earlier reports suggested Rodriguez is in Moscow, but she addressed the media in Caracas, putting a full stop on rumors about her presence. And she made it clear, Venezuela's new leader will not be dictated to.
The government of the United States launched an unprecedented military aggression against the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. This truly constitutes a terrible and deeply regrettable stain on the ongoing development of bilateral relations between our nations. During that specific military operation, the esteemed President Nicolás Maduro and the respected First Lady, the first combatant Celia Flores, were unfortunately captured. We had already issued a clear warning that an aggressive action was indeed underway under completely false excuses, under entirely false pretexts, and that the masks had definitively fallen, thereby revealing that there was only one true and ultimate objective, a complete regime change in Venezuela, and that this regime change would also allow for the capture of our energy resources, our mineral resources, our natural resources. That is the real objective, and the world and the international community must know that this is the case. Today, the Venezuelan people we have convened this National Defense Council, in which the public powers of the Venezuelan state participate. Joining us are the President of the Legislative Power of Venezuela, Dr. Jorge Rodriguez, the President of the Judicial Power, Dr. Carilia Beatriz, and the President of the Moral Power, Attorney General Tarek William Saab. Also joining us are the Minister of Defense, the Chief of the Strategic Operational Command, the Vice President for Citizen Security, the Council of Vice Presidents, and the Foreign Minister of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, as well as special guests we have invited to this National Defense Council. From here, we demand the immediate release of President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. The only president of Venezuela, President Nicolás Maduro. We are determined to achieve freedom. Here is the highest command of the Venezuelan state. The military high command, the high command of the state, the high command of the Council of Vice Presidents. All the political forces of national power in Venezuela are united. But there is also a people in the streets of Venezuela who have mobilized in response to a call already made by the President of the Republic, and which he warned, if anything were to happen to President Nicolás Maduro, the people should take to the streets, mobilized, the body of militants at their workplaces, mobilized, the Bolivarian National Armed Forces activated and deployed throughout the national territory, citizen security agencies activated, all the national power of Venezuela activated. Not even empires, nor empires in decline. As if by inheritance we have the sacred duty to safeguard our national independence, our sovereignty, our territorial integrity, which has been savagely attacked in the early hours of today. The international community has joined in and raised its voice in support of Venezuela. From the vast and diverse nations of China, Russia, Latin America, the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia, the governments of the entire world are simply shocked and utterly dismayed that the sovereign Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela is being made the victim and primary target of an unprovoked attack of this particular nature, which undoubtedly carries significant and deeply concerning Zionist overtones. It is truly shameful. A very high awareness of what they're and the Venezuelan people, fully aware, with the sacred fire of the homeland burning within them, are outraged by the illegal and illegitimate kidnapping of the President and the First Lady, the first fighter Celia Flores. All of Venezuela is activated, and the decree, which has already been signed by President Maduro, the only president of Venezuela, there is only one president in this country, whose name is Nicolás Maduro Moros.
Applause.
Having meticulously written this significant decree, we are now proceeding within the esteemed National Defense Council to formally deliver it to the distinguished President of the Supreme Court of Justice for its due and essential constitutional support in the Constitutional Chamber. There will be absolutely no blockade. What they did to Venezuela today, they could do to anyone. This brutal use of force to twist the will of the people can be done to any country. Today they did it to the people of Bolívar, and you can be certain that the Venezuelan people, who are wise, who are patient, who possess strategic patience, will know how to find the path to defend peace, to defend tranquility, and to defend the homeland. Thank you very much to all Venezuelan men and women.